Usually you can do it in 2 minutes. Look like it took 5 minutes to do that. God, they said the older you get, the quicker the time move. But I'm not sure if the time is me going slower. How you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Awesome. The day is moving. We're almost to the weekend.
Yes, it is moving right along. Yes. And so I just got back in town. Well, yes, early yesterday morning. And
Oh,
so trying to play catch up.
yeah.
Yes. So that's what. Yes. So I got out this morning. I did 8,000 steps, but I only went like whatever. It was only pushing the more. The grass popped up, during the week I was gone. So I have to
Well,
get.
it was raining too, so there was a
Yes.
lot of reason for the grass to grow. And 8,000 steps. How long did that take?
About an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yes, because the more slower it slows me down.
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's I usually do 8,000 steps in about an hour, but you know, doing some other things. But yeah, it was a good workout, and I have probably the other half. It's usually a little shorter. It maybe about 5 to 6,000 steps. On the other, I have about 40% of the lawn left.
Okay.
Hmm.
You being productive and getting your steps in. So, I think sometimes if we shift our mind, we really are some of the things that we're doing, like housework and things like that, can be a form of exercise if we are intentional about the movement. So when you say that the lawnmower slows you down, I'm almost thinking, well, that might be a good thing, because then you're actually grabbing you could be intentional about where your shoulders are setting in your spine as you're walking, right? So it's that. And sometimes not necessarily a lawnmower, but in workouts people are dragging, it's that same motion,
Hmm.
right? So it's almost like, all right, well, so you had a nice workout and you were able to track it.
Yes. I turn the exercise thing on so to make sure I don't miss out on a exercise opportunity. Yes, but I try different things, so I know it's one motion, but when I'm pushing around a bush or something, sometimes I use one hand, one arm, and
uh,
then I alternate and just use one, to stretch all the way out. Because when you're pushing, you just here in this position here. But sometimes when you're pushing and pulling, you do it with one shoulder and then work out the other. So, and also intentionally going to the point where you walk back up the hill rather than cutting it this way. So you do not, I can avoid the hill. So I intentionally go up and downhill as well as much as I can.
hmm.
Yes, just a little difference.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like the way you think. It's always, how can I, get in my workout and get the yard work done at the same time? So you're killing two bees with one stone.
Yes.
Is that two bees with one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, two bees and one stone. You say bees though. I did get stung. Matter of fact, before I left, I was down in Baton Rouge, but the week before I left, I got stung. I drove over some high, but something and it was too late. I saw the bees, but I sort of didn't react. I mean, I don't run. I sort of back up, but I didn't. I just walked straight into the bees, not paying attention. I was meditating on getting that grass. I saw bees, and I just kept going. And it was about 4 or 5 bees or whatever, and one went up my leg and got a little bite, but
Mm.
staying. But yes, so I watched out for that area this time. Yeah, so I wished I needed a few stones at that time to knock them out. Yes.
I love it. Well, tonight's we're the series for tonight. We're talking about lower back, and I think, when we started our conversation, I started thinking about when you were talking about going around the bush and using your shoulder, using your arms, and things like that. And so tonight, when we our topic for the night tonight is lower back. And so it brings to mind that, the lower back, in the topic of today is with the lower back building support from within. And the intention for today, now this is really small. Support your body, support your life. Right? So if I can think about the lower back, and if you can go to the next slide for me, Larry, we
Okay.
overcompensate a lot. Our lower back gets a lot of the pain or the bracing of whatever pain we have in our body. So, why the lower back hurts? The lower back is one of the most common places we experience pain. But pain doesn't always mean the lower back is the problem. Often the lower back is working overtime because another area isn't doing its job. So, what contributes to lower back pain? Tight hips from prolonged sitting. And I'm going to take these one by one. So, if we talk about tight hips, and the first thing they talk about is prolonged sitting, but tight hips can come from trauma.
Mm.
So it could come from, so if you've been sexually assaulted, or, I can even think about back in the day when we used to get spankings.
Mm.
For me, that was a
Mm.
traumatizing experience. So I would
Mm.
always brace myself, and creating that extra brace to prepare for impact, is what I think about. I also think about if you're constipated or bloated, we tend to grab or hold on or brace right in that hip area. So those are things that we counteract by bracing ourselves and tightening those hips. So it's not just from prolonged sitting. The tight hips can come from those things that I mentioned. Larry, I heard an exasperated noise coming from you. Do you have something to comment on, or
Yeah, you was talking about those tight hips, and then you started talking about the spanking. Well, back in the day, you know, um, we had an option to either do what they called it when you stay after school. Was that
detention?
detention hall
I see.
or the spanks with the paddle?
Yeah.
And so, if I got detention hall, then I was going to get the paddle when I got home. The paddle at home, was not directed on one area. It would hit you different places, and it may not be a paddle either, but it's going to be something. And so to avoid that, uh, from home, I used to go to the principal's office and get those licks on the back end. And so I remember, bracing, I
Yeah.
think the individual could walk out walk to close the door or whatever, and you're just sitting there with your eyes closed, and so you not only you tensing up your back pockets, you're tensing your shoulders, your legs, and everything, getting ready for that impact. So yes, that is that did jar my memory of that, in reference to tensing up and feeling pain, not necessarily in the area that it's applied to.
Yeah. And I think, that was one of the earliest signs of the beginning signs of bracing. I remember um having raised a child who my daughter at an early age at birth, she couldn't digest milk, and it was hard for
Mm.
her to pass a bowel movement. And instead of giving her enemas, it was we had to like try to keep her body relaxed. And just at that age, watching her body tense up, I was like, oh my god. And it just, her entire body from her toes, everything would just be so tense, just
Mm.
bracing, because she couldn't pass a bowel movement. So I think it's super important to recognize, and I also want to talk about sexual assault or being assaulted, because too, people don't understand that type of trauma, you're naturally bracing yourself. I think also, if I can go back, when I had my C-section at childbirth, having that scar, I also was bracing my hips as well because the scar was tender. So those are ways that we overcompensate, and sometimes we add extra stress to the lower back. Weak and core glutes can be an issue for lower back pain. Tight hamstrings, Poor posture. I am a testament, and that's part of one of the reasons why I did um start to do yoga, because my posture in my 20s and 30s were very, and still I have to think about it, is very poor. So I'm my upper body is very, very long. That's the height of my body, so I just naturally tend to just
Mhm.
hunch over. um Standing, I'll hunch over. And so I recognized that that caused, that hunching was because my shoulders were tight and tense, and I had a lot of pain in my shoulders, but I was overcompensating in my lower back. So definitely that as well. And then lastly, stress and protective muscle bracing, which is what we talked about, that trauma and that pain
Mhm.
is one of the reasons. And if you're constantly doing it and you don't know that you're doing it, these are things that we need, that I'm asking for in this series, that you tap into and see if you suffer from any of these things. And so the teaching moment is, sometimes the lower back isn't weak, it's overworked. So most of the time our lower back pain is overworked. And I can tell you, I love to dance. Now, have I been dancing over the last 10 or 15 years? No, but I've started to take on Zumba. And that constant pounding on my feet.
Mhm.
I The first day I literally I had to have a heating pad, and I had to take some ibuprofen. It hurt to walk, but I understood exactly where the pain was coming from. It was coming from my heels and just kind of shooting up to my lower back. So what I decided to do was just ease my lower back, breathe, relax. I had done the workout, so now I got to restore and rest my body. So it was a recovery, and I think the recovery is also key as well.
Mhm.
So, all right. Anything you want to add?
Yes. Well, what about just sitting? For I think a lot of our colleagues now, spend a lot of their time sitting at a desk, and
Yeah.
so how can we, you know, uh, reduce that when we're doing a lot of sitting?
So it's interesting because it's a will. It's and it's a thing where if you're sitting for a long time, you have to get up and take breaks. So the discipline comes from knowing, I'm about to sit for 8 hours, so let me take these breaks. And so that's where, if you turn to the next slide, I think the ease method will come into play. And we've been every week we've been going into the ease method, talking about how do we create ease in the body. And so exhaling and letting go of the tension. So if you know you're sitting in a desk, first, if you're sitting at a desk, um I've seen, and I love the word if I'm saying it right, ergonomics, right? So your desk should fit your lifestyle and what works best for you. Your chair should fit your lumbar spine. All of these things, it should be comfortable. So first, you should have the proper chair, foot pads, and desk. If your desk can go up and down, maybe you stand and move the chair for 2 hours. If your desk can't move up and down, maybe you stand and get up and take breaks every hour. But the prolonged sitting, there has to be something where you create that ease in your body versus straight up 8 hours typing all day long, right? So, what are we doing to our bodies when we're sitting for long periods of time? And again, it's the letting go of the tension. So when you're sitting, not sitting with your shoulders up to your ears, making sure your feet have, I sit with a foot cushion. I found that when
Yes.
I elevate my feet,
Hmm.
that's better. So I have my bolster. So I'll use, depending on, what chair, I'll have my feet
Yes.
sitting up on a bolster. Or, maybe one day it's just this bolster where both feet
Yes.
are up on. But I find something that I can place under my heels. And then I have water, so I'm hydrated. I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely hydrated. And so those are the basic things when you're sitting for long periods of time. The other thing that I do is I have a back pillow. So I will have something that will support my lower back and my spine. Depending on the day of the week, if it's Wednesday, Thursday, I have a heating pad that I plug in and I make sure that my spine is resting against that heating pad. Um, I also put salve on my lower back if my back is tight or tense. So I will maybe rub some sort of salve where it just helps to remind me to breathe. So I feel it. It's like peppermint and lavender. So it helps relax the body.
Hmm. All right, super. I do the pillow thing under the feet because I do. That's seemed to relieve a lot of tension by I have flat feet. One thing, and so and I really a lot of my childhood was we didn't wear shoes a lot, only if church and school. Other than that, was barefoot, and so I'm sort of feel very comfortable with not having shoes on. And so even if I'm in a crowded office, if I can stick my feet underneath the desk, even I was on the plane, as soon as I sit in the seat, I'm pulling my shoes off,
Yeah.
driving. So
Yeah.
at the desk, same thing. If I have the shoes off, pillow under the feet, it relieves a lot of tension and stress for me.
Yeah. I also recognize, and I'm glad you brought that up, the type of shoes that I have on my feet. If my feet are like I've noticed sometimes some of my tennis shoes will cause swell, like if my feet start to swell and the shoe gets to be too tight, then it starts to go up and my knees are affected, the back of my knees, and then I can feel, especially when I'm driving. So I started getting compression socks and things like that because I started getting cramps in my shins. Or I try to walk around, like you said, if I'm in the car, I don't have on shoes because I need, my feet to be able to breathe and have space. If my feet are
Yes.
closed up in a shoe and I'm driving, I tend to cramp up in my calves or in my shins. So I try to do little things. I too, not necessarily barefoot all the time because I have to have on a sock, but I try not to have shoes on if I'm sitting at the desk because I
Yes.
do feel like that shoe is going to like cause some sort of lack of circulation, which may cause some tension as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds
But the
good.
ease method, to just go over really quickly: exhaling, letting go of the tension, slowing your breath down if you're sitting in the chair, making sure your pelvic, your spine, and your hips and your pelvic are aligned in a straight line. So the A and the E's is aligning. And then the S is softening the body. Once you find that space of ease and comfort in the body, you can just expand and breathe. You soften the body, expand and breathe, and then you're settled into wherever your body is resting. Support is always good. We always need support. So yeah, if you could go to the next slide.
Okay.
So just to put it all together, the body works together. I think our first, we talked about, and now I'm losing my train of thought. But our first session, we did the shoulders. We did, I can't even think. What do we do? The shoulders.
Shoulders, hips, I think.
Yep. So we did the shoulders, the hips, and now we're on the lower back. And this
Mhm.
all works together. So building on the foundation, over the past 2 weeks, we've explored the hips and the shoulders. And today we're connecting another piece. It's the lower back. Your body doesn't move in separate parts, it moves together as one connected system. When the hips become stiff, the lower back often compensates. When the shoulders become restricted, the neck and the lower back work harder. Mobility is learning how every part supports the next. So, our reflection is, where do you need support instead of more effort? So, I think we talked about sitting on a pillow. What is support? And I'll ask you, Larry, what does support look like for you?
Well, one, I think we talked about the pillow, but also the back. I mean, really the lumbar and the back. when we're speaking and we're speaking of the back, that back support. And I actually like sitting if I'm depends, if I'm on a sofa, a soft seat or something of that sort. And if I need to pay attention at an office or in a class, I usually set up and not use the back of the chair.
Oh, wow.
And so, but when I do have the opportunity to have a chair that fits well, I want to sit all the way back and I want that back support. So when my back is touching, I don't want just the back to be totally flat. I want that lumbar support.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to sit on the edge of the seat, it's different. When I'm sitting in the back, I need lumbar support. So I love that. And it really lessened the tension on not only my back, shoulders, and things of that sort when I have that support in the lower back.
Yep, I agree. And we talked about this, but I think to talk about what support looks like and to kind of put it all together, it's like when you're driving, having that pillow to support your back, that extra cushion. Because sometimes the way my spine curves, it's like I have to really move the chair up. I have to make sure my chair. So if you're seeing me driving, I'm like straight up and down, just because I need to be up straight so my spine and my lower back are supported. So grabbing that pillow, supported shoes. I look at Good Feet. I've never been to Good Feet, but I look at these Skechers. I don't really think Skechers works, so I'm gonna just say that out loud. It didn't work for my parents. I don't know about me. So I'm hesitant with Skechers, but there's all types of support out there that will help. And I think sometimes I get people to come up to me as a yoga instructor and say, my lower back, my lower back. And it's like, well, let's listen to our bodies. And maybe it isn't your lower back. Maybe it is something where your back is working in overdrive to overcompensate. So grabbing that support,
Yes.
standing up in a desk versus sitting down if your back is hurting. So I think, one of the takeaways and what I want people to understand in this series is we don't have to hurt. The hurt doesn't mean that, the hurt should be a signal that we just need to just adjust and maybe do some things with our bodies. Maybe stretching, maybe, doing something easy. But it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is extreme. It's just a shift in movement, mobility, and getting that support.
Yes. And for me, I don't know if for all, but when I'm standing and for a class, standing in one spot really, really, really hurts. I don't know. Well, I don't. It really doesn't matter. I don't think the surface. I used to think it was the surface, on a tile floor, cement floor, but I think even on a wooden floor, just standing for long periods of time, I not only my legs are and shins are hurting, but even my back. And so I intentionally, want to move when we had a 6-hour class just last week, but I can't stand in one spot because
Yeah.
it's just tiring staying there. But so movement actually has, it helps my back. If I'm on a feet, I need to be moving.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, it depends on the shoe, which, I said, I mean that I don't think I will ever put my foot in a shoe, a heel. Again, I couldn't walk in them when I was able to wear them. So now that it hurts like, I'm like you, it hurts to stand still for certain periods of time. So I need to make sure my shoes have the proper support. So,
Hmm.
the tennis shoes are really easy for me to go into, although I've had some tennis shoes that hurt my feet really bad. But for the most part, yes, standing in one space is very tiresome on the back of my legs and creates extra tension in my lower back. So moving around is helpful as well.
Yes. Super.
All right.
Are
So
you
we're
ready for the
working it
next?
all together. I think the next slide is a couple of movements. So
Okay.
practicing, our practice flow is just, breathing and coming into awareness with the breath. So I'm in my easy seated, and as I was talking and having a conversation with you, Larry, I kind of relaxed my body, and you see my spine kind of curved in the back. But now that I'm bringing awareness into, all right, it's time to like relax my body and get into my yogi posture, I can immediately feel how when I lengthen my spine, how my shoulders are pulled down and just how I feel better and how my lower back is here. So my pelvic bone is tilted forward and I'm here. Breathing and just relaxing, bringing awareness to the body. So breath awareness is the first posture, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, relaxing the spine, chin is neutral, eyes can be lower closed. All right, now here we go. The next posture in our lower back, we're going to do a cat-cow motion. So I'm going to turn to the side. Here's my easy seated. You can see where my hips, my spine, and my shoulders are in a straight line. I'm rolling the shoulders back. I'm going to lift the chin, bring the chest forward. Inhale, and then exhale, hollow out the back, tuck the chin into the chest. Hands on my knees. I'm going to inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chin, inhale big, pull the shoulders back and down, lift the chin. Exhale, hollow out the back. Inhale, come in. Exhale, hollow out the back. Now neutral spine. And here we go. All right, so now we're going to go into some hip creases. So hip circles, sorry. So we're going to just rotate the hips around. And you see that rotation, we're getting into the side body, we're getting into the hips and the knees. And again, your hip circles, if you're unable to bend your knees, you can come here with your hip circles. If you're sitting in the chair at your desk, you can bend your knees, you're at the chair. And I'm going to get on my knees like I'm sitting at a desk. Let me see if I can back up. All right, hip circles. All right, so the hip circles are just getting that lower back, shifting them, kicking those hips out, away, and then pulling those hips forward and rolling it around. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now go the opposite way, so roll it forward and go back. Forward and back. And again, I'm on my knees. So if you're at the desk and your feet are down at the desk, you're there. If you're doing a yoga pose and you're easy seated, you're here. All right. Now I want to get into a tabletop and do a cat-cow. So cat-cow, hips and heel. No, what am I saying? Hips and knee in a straight line, knee and heel straight line. Wrist under the shoulders. Here we go. We're going to bring the belly down towards the mat. We're going to roll the shoulders back, lift the chin. Exhale, hollow out the back, tuck the chin into the chest. Feel that. Now, as my back is hollowed, I'm in cat. I'm just going to rock back towards my heels. Inhale, come to neutral. Bring the belly, lift the chin. Exhale. Inhale. All right, now neutral spine. Here we go. Find that easy seated. So a couple of postures to release that ease in the lower back. Find that. Okay, so we didn't do child's pose. So let me show you child's pose. And pelvic clock is the circular motion. So the child's pose is hands and knees. Hands and knees, you can bring the knees out, big toes together, shift the hips back, and then you walk your hands out, fold, and we're here. This is our child's pose. Now, hands can come back here, or hands can come here. Some people are tight in the hips, so if you're tight in the hips and you can't bring your hips back or they're they can't go back here, you can find your puppy. So you can just bring the chest down, keep the hips stacked over the knees, fold the chest, and we're here. So there we go. All right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Whew, those little postures. I am tired. Okay. So build support, knees to chest, bridge, figure four, hamstring twist, stretch, supine twist, constructive rest, and final relaxation. Let's talk about constructive rest and final relaxation. Rest is key. Having a great mattress, making sure that your sleep is great and at ease. I will tell you, I think I need to buy me a new mattress. My mattress, I'm not able. I will say this, and I'm going off the grid, but I slept in a hotel. Slept in a hotel, and it was sleep, one of the best nights rest that I've had. I think with my menopause, and I thought it was just, the menopause, the room, yada yada yada. I get up in the middle of the night. I crave sweets. I eat. I put things in my mouth in the middle of the night. I go to sleep. I wake up 3 hours later. I'm eating candy and I go back to sleep. But this night I'm in the hotel, had the same candy in the bed and never woke up. Had a really great night's rest. So I say all that to say, part of my me having pain in my lower back, I think my mattress is too hard. I'm not getting a good night's rest. So rest is fundamental. Rest is fundamental, as well as your shavasana. So laying flat and keeping your mind at ease throughout the day, or maybe taking a 5-minute break and just unclenching, relaxing inside your body. Those are things that will help as well. So the practice flow, there's ways to move your body to minimize that tension, but I do think a lot of the tension is kind of, if you could get into the mindset of understanding where the tension is coming from and going from there, you may reduce the tension. You can reduce the tension, I think, a lot, tremendously. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say how much or if it will help, but I definitely think by just bringing awareness and moving that you'll have some relief in your lower back. All right, next slide. So the gist of this in this our today's series on our lower back is just create support for yourself. So what support does your body need today? Your lower back doesn't have to do all the work. Support isn't weakness. It's the foundation that allows us to move with confidence, return to ease, one breath, one movement, one supported choice at a time. So Larry, I'm going to ask you, what support does your body need today?
What support does my body need today? Yeah, and I guess we're talking about physical supports, right?
Yes.
Yes. I think I need balance. I think physical. One area of the body, not taking the the impact of another portion of the body, maybe not well balanced. So I think balance in the body. The support I need is, I think, I rest as well, because there's one thing I don't feel that I need to. I think a lot of impact is something that we experience more than needed, but I think that rest and relaxation actually support the healing and for my body. And other than that, just basically good seating and no prolonged standing. So, yes.
Yes. I love it. All right. So I think for me, my body, the support that my body needs is, if I am going to rest, definitely have that heating pad. And then I think what I'm going to do this week is start to put support under my knees for the first 10 or 15 minutes that I'm laying in the bed, just to get that circulation. So I'm going to try to elevate my knees, bringing my knees higher than my chin. And I'm going to see how that works with my lower back.
Yes. Now I remember in uniform, especially in field units, the uniform we wore was boots, and so the boots uh, did not support your feet very much in reference to the sole and walking. It's just your walking pattern just do not go well with a hard boot, and also a lot of times we carry extra weight, and so that extra weight is not always thinking that it have to be a road march where you take it anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds when you're talking about your backpack and your weapon, but also extra weight wearing a vest and a helmet, or sometimes just what we call a web belt with canteens. And sometimes you may have a full load, such as first aid kit canteens and ammo. And so carrying that extra weight, it doesn't matter if it's an extra 10 pounds or it's an extra 60 to 70 pounds, the strain, what you felt, and even, when you sit down and pull your shoes off, the relief it would give you. But during that time, I didn't realize that additional weight, what it had to do on the body. And of course, now I think a lot of guys that have spent time in field units are feeling some of those things now. But it is a difference not having extra weight, uh, carrying extra weight. But the relaxation and taking that weight off on my feet, whether boots or not, it really make a great difference.
That's interesting that you say carrying the extra weight, because I'm thinking body weight and you're talking about like combat, like backpacks and things that you would wear
Yes.
in the military.
Hmm.
Um, I picked up, and it wasn't a lot of weight, but I definitely picked up a couple of pounds and could tell in my body, especially doing yoga, having to do a downward facing dog and moving that extra weight around put a lot of pressure on my knee. Um,
Hmm.
and so I had to physically move that extra weight that I felt in my body. I knew exactly where the weight goes. I know when I pick up a couple pounds, it's going to go straight to my hips and my thighs. And my knee was like, help me,
Hmm.
help me figure out what to do with this extra weight. And so I worked through the knee. I breathe. I didn't take any medicine. I did get some salve, and in my yoga practices, I recognized that my knee was tender, and it stayed tender for about 8 months. Even now, I've been really focusing on my knee and actually saying we're stretching our knees today. So I think saying knee, and my knee knows now, it sounds crazy out loud, but my knee knows that I'm working it out. I'm starting to feel that relief after a year. But the crumble cookies, all that fun, all those sweets, it paid, and I thought about it. I was like, wow, what if I wasn't a yoga instructor and I just keep eating these cookies and gaining this weight? My body is going to, that weight, it has to go somewhere.
Right.
And so yeah, my ankles could start to get weak. I could just see where it all would go downhill. So anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I say all that to say you're absolutely right. Carrying that extra weight does cause tension and stress. And I think overcompensating it in the lower back, or, trying to brace yourself, is what we were talking about. So
Yes. All right. And so, Tippy, I know we getting closer to close here, but someone that may be having tension right now, what are some of the things that you would recommend that may give them some early relief?
So we talked about not bracing. So trying to just allow the body to feel the tension. I think diagnosing where the tension is coming from. Like, I knew that I picked up extra weight. My knee is, sore. So let me work my knee out. Let me work my thigh. But finding the source of the pain, not just saying, oh, my back is hurting, let me take some ibuprofen, but it might be my knee. And when I'm walking, I'm bracing myself. So, really finding out the source of the pain, and from there, working through that mentally and physically. Our minds tell our bodies a lot of things. And it's like your mind has to teach your body that it's okay and we can work through the pain, especially as we get older. Our mind and the body have to work together. So definitely being easy on yourself. And the last thing I'm going to say is create that support. So finding ease in the body, using the ease method, making sure you are breathing, aligning your spine, softening your body, and then expanding once you're able to just relax and soften into your body. So that support. What support does your lower back need? What is your lower back overcompensating? Where is the pain really coming from, where your lower back is working in overdrive? Those are the things that I want you to ask yourself. And yeah, that's my last, and what I'm going to say is don't work your lower back in overdrive.
Okay. All right. Tippi, can you tell us what and how individuals can get in contact with you
Oh,
more?
you got all
More
my
information?
socials up here. So
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm Yoga with Tippi. You can find me on YouTube, Yoga with Tippi. I have some amazing videos for your feet and your wrists up there now. On YouTube, what did I say? Oh, Instagram, Yoga with Tippi. And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. So you can find me. Reach out to me if you have any questions, any concerns, or if you want to work out. I do, I can work out. We can work out together. But yeah, you can hit me up and find me on my socials. Yoga with Tippi.
Sounds good. And just remind everyone, Tippi is on right now for the summer. Her videos are being played. She's preparing every Monday morning at 7:15. Sometimes I have technical difficulties, but just in case, I was on the road and no, I had a Wi-Fi situation, and that dial-up wasn't working very well. But the her display, it will be played as soon as I can get into a right location. But her videos will be up at 7:15 on Monday morning. You can watch it anytime during the week. And she's really been on social media quite a bit. And so I can't tell you exactly where it's coming from, because I'm liking Tippi everywhere. I'm subscribed to everything. And so I don't know if it's YouTube. I don't know if it's TikTok. I don't know if it's Instagram. I'm not sure. I know a lot come up on Facebook, and I have all these things scrolling in here. So I see Tippi is coming up. So put Tippi into your social media and subscribe. And
Please.
there's a lot of activity, and I have seen her out there doing some of that Zumba as well. She sometimes get out of her car with the door open and start doing Zumba, and so so I've seen her a few times. So she's moving more. She's moving with the Zumba. But of course, the Tippi is doing that yoga with Tippi every Monday morning. And we're looking forward to having Tippi again on next Thursday.
Yes.
And so continue to follow us on social media, follow Tippi on social media, and check out our website for upcoming events as well.
Yes. Next week
Tippi,
is the
yes,
knees.
go ahead. Go ahead, Tippi.
Next week are the knees. We're getting into the knees next week.
All right. That sounds good. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else, Tippi. Our audience, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.